Around 11 p.m., a singer named Hanako walked into a subway station to go home. After a midnight concert, she sat down and waited for the train. She saw a man dressed in a yellow one-piece with its hoodie up and a parasol, walking in a strange way as if he was drunk. He put the parasol down near a post, sat on it, and fallen asleep. What a strange way to sleep, Hanako thought. The subway arrived, and Hanako quickly got in, followed by the half-asleep man. There was no one in the subway, and Hanako slumped herself on one of the seats, exhausted. The man fell face first onto the floor and started to snore. But then he got up and started sleepwalking towards Hanako and sat beside her. She was disturbed by the man and tried to edge away from him, but he turned his head towards Hanako and then opened his eyes. The man's breath was terrible, and Hanako fell unconscious. When she woke up, she found a red sprout planted on her arm. She was terrified and quickly went to the doctor's the next day. It's a vampire tree that lives on blood. Your blood, the doctor said.
Well, what are you waiting for? Take it out! I can't pull it. It hurts so much.
Hanako pleaded. Well, we have to amputate the arm from the shoulder to take it out, as its roots have grown long, the doctor explained.
Wait, the whole arm? I'm not ready. Can you give me a year to think about it?
It's up to you, but the tree's sucking 100 milliliters of blood every day, and it's beyond what your body can produce. If it goes on, we'll have to transfuse 500 milliliters of blood to you every day.
Can't you do anything else?
No, that's the only way. Besides, in no time, its roots will take over your whole body. The doctor finished. Hanako went home, deeply upset about what the doctor said to her. A few days passed by, and the roots were still growing. Hanako began to feel weak due to the tree sucking her blood. After 10 days, the roots have already taken 2/3 of her body. Hanako was feeling weaker on every passing day. She couldn't eat, sleep, or move around much due to the blood loss. After 16 days, the roots have already taken her whole body. Knowing that there's nothing left to do, Hanako decided to go outside to get some fresh air. But after being outside for only a minute, Hanako fell unconscious. A friend came to visit, but all they could find was a red tree, and on the branches were torn clothes, and there were Hanako's. There was a teenage boy named Lorcan who said he wanted to be a vampire. Everyone thought he was just looking for attention. He didn't have any friends. All of the kids in school were afraid of him. He was odd-looking, and his head seemed too large for his body. He was unnaturally thin, and his eyes were sunken and had dark circles around them. His cheeks were hollow, and his skin was a deadly shade of pale. He dressed in black from head to toe and wore a long black trench coat that resembled a cape. When the other kids were playing sports, Lorcan would be sitting in the corner of the schoolyard, engrossed in one of his books. He collected books about vampires, devil worship, and satanic rituals. He'd read each one over and over, feverishly underlining passages and taking notes. There were always strange rumors about him floating around the neighborhood. Some younger children claimed that they had seen him murder a dog and drink its blood. Others said he would kidnap cats in the neighborhood and bring them home so that he could perform weird experiments on them. His parents were worried sick about him. His odd behavior unnerved them, and they didn't know what to do with him. They brought him to doctors and psychiatrists, but none of it did any good. One night, his mother found some of his books. When she realized that they were about Satanism, she was horrified and threw them in the garbage. Lorcan didn't complain or protest, but when his parents went to bed, he crept downstairs and went outside to retrieve his beloved books from the trash. The next day, he made a big hole in the ceiling of his wardrobe. It was his secret passage, and it allowed him to crawl up into the attic unnoticed. He kept all of his books there, safe from prying eyes. The attic became his secret place. He even constructed a makeshift altar and decorated it with satanic symbols, upside-down crosses, and a crude drawing of the devil. One night, he broke into the local church and stole a silver chalice and some communion wafers. He brought them home and placed them on his altar. During the day, Lorcan was sleepy and lethargic, but at night, he would come alive. While his mother and father were asleep, he would creep around the house, barefoot, trying not to make the slightest sound. Sometimes, he would creep soundlessly into their bedroom and stand over them, watching their peaceful slumber. One day, the teacher gave everyone in the class an assignment. They had to write an essay entitled, "When I Grow Up." The teacher asked if anyone wanted to read their essay out loud to the class, and Lorcan raised his hand. He stood in front of the blackboard, holding a crumpled piece of paper, and cleared his throat. "When I grow up," he began, "I want to be a vampire." The other kids rolled their eyes and giggled. Lorcan was so excited, the paper was shaking in his hand. "I want to sleep in a coffin," he continued. "I want to surround myself with death. I want to dedicate myself to evil and get my revenge on all my enemies. I want to surrender my soul to Satan and accept him as my Lord and Savior." "That's enough, Lorcan," the teacher interrupted. Lorcan ignored her, and his voice grew louder. None of his classmates were giggling now. "I want to drink the blood of little boys and girls and feel it coursing through my veins. I want to sink my teeth into the soft flesh of my victims and feel their hot blood trickling down my throat." "Stop it, Lorcan," the teacher cried. "Sit down." "I want to rip them open, pull out their insides, and feast on their entrails. I want to destroy every living thing. I want to burn the world. I want to kill everyone who made fun of me." The teacher lunged at him snatching the paper out of his hands. Lorcan clawed at her and screamed like a mad thing. As she grabbed him by the neck and marched him off into the principal's office, he was yelling,
"I want to be a vampire! I want to kill you all! I want to kill you all!"
Lorcan was suspended from school, and his parents had to meet with the teacher and the school principal. After that, everyone watched him like a hawk. Neighbors would pull their children off of the streets if they saw him coming. Rumors spread quickly about him, and nobody wanted anything to do with him. One day, a little boy who lived in the neighborhood went missing. His parents searched for him, but there was no sign of him anywhere. It was as if he had vanished into thin air. The police were called, and they knocked on every door in the area, asking questions. One officer questioned Lorcan and noticed he was acting nervous. Very nervous. The policeman had a bad feeling about the teenager and insisted on speaking to his mother and father. Lorcan's parents let the policeman in and agreed to let him search the house. Lorcan grew even more nervous. The police officer searched Lorcan's room, but didn't find anything suspicious. Then he opened the wardrobe and noticed a hole in the ceiling. When he poked his head up through the hole and peered into the attic, his eyes were greeted by a horrible sight. Later, he would say it was the single most disturbing thing he had ever seen in his life. The dead body of the missing boy was hanging from the roof. His arms and legs were tied to the rafters of the attic in the shape of a crucifix. Beneath him was a satanic altar surrounded by books on devil worship. On the altar was a silver chalice filled with blood. The policeman scrambled downstairs and raised the alarm. He shouted for his colleagues, and when he told them what he had seen, they began a desperate search for Lorcan. But the teenager was nowhere to be found. His parents had no idea where he was. Policemen on the streets swore they haven't seen anyone leave the house. Nobody could find any trace of the teenage boy. The police were baffled. They were sure there was no way the boy could have escaped without being noticed. It was a complete mystery. Later on, one of the officers did recall witnessing something strange. He said that just after the commotion had started, he thought he saw something fly out of one of the windows. It flapped its wings and disappeared into the night. He thought his eyes were playing tricks on him, but he could have swore that what he saw looked like a large black bat. Have you ever walked into a room and found a vampire? No, not the sexy kind, but a foul creature with bony limbs and ashen skin. The kind that snarls as you enter, like a beast about to pounce. The kind that roots you to the spot with its sunken, hypnotic eyes, rendering you unable to flee as you watch the hideous thing uncoil from the shadows. Has your heart started racing through your legs, refused to? Have you felt time slowed as the creature crosses the room in the darkness of a blink? Have you shuddered with fear when it places one clawed hand atop your head and another under your chin so it can tilt you, exposing your neck? Have you squirmed as its rough, dry tongue slides down your cheek, over your jaw, to your throat, with a slithering search that's seeking your artery? Have you felt its hot breath release in a hiss against your skin when it probes your pulse, the flow that leads to your brain? Has its tongue rested there, throbbing slightly, as if savoring the moment? Have you then experienced a sinking, sucking blackness as you discover that not all vampires feed on blood? Some feed on memories. Well, have you? Maybe not. But let me rephrase the question. Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly forgot why you came in? Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this creepypasta video I made, I got more creepypasta videos here. Don't forget to like and subscribe for upcoming videos in the near future. And if you like this drawing video, I have more drawing videos here. Thank you for watching, and happy Halloween.